Do you ever feel like you're holding back in a relationship, especially in a new relationship, afraid to really share what you're thinking or feeling because you're worried about how your partner might react to it, or that you might push them away or hold back part of who you really are because you're afraid if they really knew you, they wouldn't want to be with you anymore? The thing that you fear, usually you manifest. By fearing that, you usually cause them to want to push away because they feel like they're not that close to you. Welcome to my Broken to Brave podcast. I'm the Love Coach Donna Barnes. Vulnerability is a really scary thing. However, it's actually the key to a really happy relationship. And I know when you first meet somebody, less is more. And I've been the first to say you can't wear your heart on your sleeve and that you're just like an open book. Like an open book is not sexy. Timing has everything to do with when you actually lay out personal things about you. But once you get into a relationship, you like a couple of months in, if you're feeling like you're holding back because you don't want to push your partner away, you'll usually manifest pushing them away because they can sense that you're holding something back. And the really sad thing is that a lot of people end up losing a relationship because they're not capable of really sharing how they feel about that person. And then they feel like they're not loved. I mean, I've seen this happen in my own life and like with friends and people like that, especially in New York, right? But like also just in my coaching practice, people come to me for coaching because the person that they were absolutely head over heels in love with left them, but they never told them that they were head over heels in love with them. And look, studies show that if you know that someone cares about you, loves you, it's easier to care about them and love them. What are you afraid of? And really ask yourself that. What are you afraid of? Because if you really genuinely love this person and you tell them and they don't love you, wouldn't you rather know that sooner than later and be out of the relationship? Usually, if you're feeling like you want to say that, the other person probably feels that way too, because you're in that, like, do I feel loved is the number one question to define the quality of your relationship. So if you're in a new relationship and you feel loved, I promise you, it is completely appropriate to share what you're really feeling because they probably feel that way too. And maybe they're waiting for you to bring it up, right? Especially with men, right? Men are told you've got to be strong. You can't be, it's weak if you are emotional, which is such crap. And I do think in today, people are trying to get past that, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. When you keep that stuff inside, no one can really get close to you. It's like having a wall, right? You have to take down that emotional wall to really find love and to really be loved, because that's the holy grail, right? That's true love. When you can really talk about things that are important to you and how you feel, have your feelings reciprocated. I know it's really scary, but think of the alternative. I could tell you a lot of people lost the person that they were absolutely crazy about because they never told them that they were crazy about them. And that's a huge mistake. I think you really need to tell the person, especially like if you're a woman watching this, men take a little longer to process their feelings, right? Like men kind of need to go away to feel their feelings, especially right-handed men. Left-handed men and women can think and feel at the same time. Right-handed men think or feel. So they do need that away time to kind of feel their feelings. And honestly, you could go out on a date, you could meet somebody, you could spend some time with them, and they might disappear for a little bit. Let them. Don't chase them. When you chase something, it runs. But I think if you're confident enough in yourself to recognize that it was a really good thing and allow them the space to go away and recognize how important you are to them so that they come back to you, that can be a really loving relationship. And I've seen that happen a lot too. You need to give someone the space to feel their feelings, to recognize how they really feel about you. So yeah, it can't be in the beginning, in the very beginning. People say, I love you within the first couple of weeks of dating. That's ridiculous, right? That'll push somebody away. I'm talking if you've been together for a while and you've spent a good amount of time together and you've been in each other's lives and you've done a lot of things together and you really feel vulnerable to this person, but you're afraid to be vulnerable because you're afraid that it might ruin the relationship. I promise you're going to ruin the relationship if you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable. Because all those stereotypical roles of like the strong man that can't talk about his feelings, can't cry, that's bull, right? It really is. The more vulnerable you can be with your partner, if they've shown you that it's safe to be vulnerable with them, the more loving and intimate your relationship will be. And honestly, I don't want a relationship that's not like that. I mean, at this point in my life, right? But that's largely why I give advice, right? Because a much younger me, it's a little bit of a nightmare to date sometimes. So I've learned a lot, and I'm good at helping other people. I'm here for coaching. If you're in a relationship that's new, I'm really good at helping you pace it so that you don't overwhelm your partner, but that you also don't push them away because they don't know that you're really caring about them. Because I think that happens more often than not. You're afraid to tell your partner how you feel, so they end up leaving you because they don't think you care, right? I mean, geez, yeah. I mean, I've told this story before, but my very first boyfriend ever, because look, I don't ever remember seeing my parents kiss. I would play with the girls across the street and her father would come home and kiss their mother. And I was like, my dad doesn't do that, right? So like my very first boyfriend, oh my gosh, I was crazy about him. I wasn't capable of being vulnerable with him. And he broke up with me. And I did manage to cry, right? And he drove around the block and he came back and he said, I'm just kidding. I don't want to break up. And I was like, what? And he was like, I didn't think you cared. And I said, I love you. And he was like, yeah, you don't act like it. He was like, I was going to break up with you. I really didn't think you cared. Fast forward to where I am today. Like that is not me at all. But my point about that is he was breaking up with me because he didn't think I cared. And I did really care. So I know what I'm talking about here. And I think it's very common to not share that vulnerability with your partner because you're afraid that it's going to push them away. But I promise you, what usually happens is it pushes them away that they don't think you really care. So it's a really good thing to allow yourself to be vulnerable. And I'd like you to encourage you to be brave enough and to trust your partner enough to recognize that it's safe to be vulnerable with them. And if it's not, then you shouldn't be in that relationship. That emotional wall will definitely keep you alone if you don't let somebody in. You need to take down all your defenses when you meet somebody that is worthy of you taking down your defenses so that you can have a really good, strong, loving relationship with them. So thanks for watching. Leave me your comments. I do love your comments. They help me come up with ideas sometimes for things that I want to make podcasts about. I'm here for coaching. If you really need help with a relationship and you have a hard time expressing yourself, thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next episode.